On today's episode of Let's Grow Together, it's just me in a solo episode as I talk about how to live your dream life. I go through my experiences over the last 6+ years in really crediting all of the things that I have done and I have learned that have helped me to get to where I am today. Now, I still have a lot to learn, a lot to grow, a lot to do that I want to do in my life, but I promise you that listening to my journey will help you to reflect on your own and help you to build the life of your dreams because I'm doing it. And if I'm doing it, so can you. So let's dive in. But first, the intro. Welcome to Let's Grow Together. My name is Nick Monotadibus, motivational speaker and digital marketing strategist. And this podcast is all about helping you grow both in life and business. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, I am so excited to bring it back with this solo episode and really dive into how I was able to get from where I was to where I am now. And thinking back on this and really looking at all of the dates, like I have all these dates that I'm going to go through and kind of mapping out the journey that I've had that's allowed me to build a business and then move to San Diego and be where I am today. Because a lot of times we often see something that we see this, level of success or whatever you want to call it. And again, I'm not saying that I'm super successful, but I am saying that I reward or I give credit to where I am today through all of these actions that I've seen over the years. And I just want to show that it doesn't happen overnight and that this is something that has been a progression over the last 6 years for me to be able to get where I am now. And really just again watching the journey that's come from this. So taking it back a little bit and where this kind of journey all really began in my mind. And I could go back into college and talk about some of my speaking things and I kind of realizing that I actually was pretty good at speaker in college, didn't even realize it was a skill. But really it real started when I joined my first job at Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. Many of you guys know that. You may have, met me through Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. And that was kind of my first job out of school where I was getting to do what I actually went to school for, which was business and marketing. And here I am getting thrown into this small business, this whole new world of what a small business is and all the different avenues, all the different areas and all these different things. And I just started seeing, how cool it was. I love this idea of building a business and, being able to be a part of that business. I mean, when I first joined them, they were, just getting started. I was the fourth team member to join the team. It was so small. They were actually when I was first joining, they're actually struggling to even pay me, which was a very low wage at the time. It's like an internship wage, basically like covering costs, but nowhere near, the actual, salary that I felt that I should be getting from a college degree. But anyway, what happened was, I stuck it out because I believed in what they were doing. I believed in the mission. I believed in Steve. I believed in the team and just what they were trying to do to create an impact on the people that they were working with. And I just felt like I was in the right place and really seeing that journey and seeing how I was able to kind of get many opportunities through this, and how all of this kind of started to come. But at the same time, I was just living my life. I was just, doing the job thing. But I did start to see different things that I could do. I started realizing that I had these talents that I could use for myself to potentially make more money. Because again, at the time, I was trying to do whatever I could. So I ended up buying my first camera in 2014, which was so awesome. Again, investing in yourself. That's like a lesson number one, invest in yourself, because that was the start. That was the first real big investment that I had ever made that, it was $1,000 camera when it was all said and done. And, you know, it was proof. I didn't think of it, oh my gosh, I'm about to spend $1,000. I thought of it as I'm about to spend $1,000 and I have no doubt that I'm going to be able to make that money back. And that's the difference in how you make your purchases. is this something that is going to help me? Is this going to benefit me? And again, that investment in myself, in yourself, and believing that if you make this purchase, you will make it work and you will be able to succeed. And again, just being able to cover that cost. It's not like, hey, if I buy this camera, I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, that was not the mentality. But again, just understanding that if I continue to invest in myself, good things were going to happen. Now, I was still figuring out where I wanted to go. I didn't really know. I was kind of messing around. I was doing some video work for some people. I was doing some websites. I was doing logos, just kind of all over the place, trying different things, figuring out what I like to do, where I wanted to go. And, again, that's the trial and error. Like, I figured out I didn't want to manage people's social media. I didn't want to actually make people's videos, traveling to their home and, recording the videos. I was like, that's not for me. But again, it was the action that creates that clarity. I always quote this, James Wedmore: action creates clarity, because again, doing these things and trying these different things is what helped me to realize that that wasn't what I want to do. And sometimes we need to do the things that we don't necessarily know that we don't want to do. So we have to try things to figure out, okay, that's not what we want to do. Instead of necessarily assuming that this isn't what we want to do, we need to try different things. We need to experiment. We need to be that scientist to just figuring out what's going to work best for us. And the more that we continue to try new things, the more things that we're going to realize, the more things that are going to have that transition of like, oh, and gaining that clarity to actually, let's try this. And again, you're not going to figure it out overnight, but it's the steps and the progress again. And you'll see as I talk more on this episode in how this journey continues. So one thing that I've talked about but kind of graze over a lot in the podcast or different videos that I make, but a really big moment for me from the personal development side of things happened when it was 2015, October 20th of 2015. And my 11-year-old cousin passed away from brain cancer. And this just rocked our family, from a whole standpoint, totally changed the mindset of how I saw my life. The concept of death just in general came at a whole new point, because up until that point, I didn't really know anyone that had passed away that wasn't, past their 80s. And so this hit hard, but in my viewpoint, I chose to see the positives in this happening. Yes, it was absolutely one of the worst experience of my life and my family's life. But for me, I chose to see what I wanted to see, and that life is extremely, extremely precious. It is an amazing gift to be alive. And I just saw this. I saw, life lost so soon. I started thinking about all the things that she wasn't going to get to experience, like high school, like a first kiss in college and all of these things. And at that time in 2015, I'm just thinking about myself and my job and, just getting stressed about things that don't matter. And just now realizing how precious life is, and that every day is a gift. And she gave me that gift. And I feel that it's my duty and obligation to continue to share that with other people and help you guys see how amazing it is to just be here, to be on this earth and wake up every day. That amazing just being here, no matter what you're going on, no matter what problems. And yes, we're going to have problems. We're going to have struggles, and things are going to come up where we're not happy every day. But if you can take a moment every single day and just realize how amazing it is that you just woke up today, that gift is a powerful and amazing gift to not be taken lightly. And I hope that this message hits with you, because I want you to remember this, not just something that is impactful now in the moment, but taking this with you on an everyday mentality. And I would even encourage you to take this one step further and starting that day with gratitude. Again, I like to do things that are tangible. But this is where this gratitude came into me, for why the gratitude aspect is so much more impactful. Yes, people say, start with gratitude. What are you grateful for? But the reason why I believe that this is so much more powerful in how I see the gratitude is because of this experience that I had, because of this horrible thing that you hope that no one has to deal with, you know? Yet now I have the ability to see things differently, the ability to see what an amazing gift it is and that it should not be wasted. And that's what happened. That was where this shift was made in myself, and realizing that what I was doing wasn't the path for me. You know, I just was going through the motions, going through the days, going to work, coming back from work, hanging out with my friends, you know, um, and there were certain things that I knew I was meant for more, that I wanted to do more, that there was more to life than just going through the motions. And I started this personal development journey, and things I started thinking about, like, what did I want to do? What did I want to achieve? One thing that I always struggled with growing up was that I always felt that I wasn't smart enough. I struggled with reading my whole life. Growing up, it was just something that I hated. I had to go to summer school in 6th grade because I was terrible at reading, and they wanted to prepare me for that middle school. So in between 5th and 6th grade, I had to go. And I just remember being in this class with people that I did not want to be in the same room with, not from a level of personality, but I just felt that I was smarter, and I felt like I didn't belong there. But reading was holding me back, and I took that with me for so long, that this level of not being a good reader hurt my intelligence, that I wasn't smart enough. And having to overcome that over the years, and still working towards that. I'm still working and growing towards that, but I just wanted to share that because, again, I've had my own doubts. I've had my own struggles into not believing that I was good enough, not believing that I was smart enough to do these things that I was watching other people do, watching other people achieve. And so I started to realize that knowledge was going to be the thing that was going to get me where I wanted to go, that this continued pursuit of knowledge was going to change how I saw things, to change my life, to make me get better, to stop using that as an excuse that I'm not smart. Well, who says that I'm not smart? And who says that I can't change? Who says that I can't be smarter? Who says that I can't just learn and learn and learn and become the best version of myself? I don't need to be the most intelligent person, but making smarter than what I am. It comes through knowledge. And if you're just going through the emotions, going through the same things, you're not taking time to really learn new skills, read books. And again, it doesn't have to be all the time. It doesn't have to be this constant, oh my gosh, you're always trying to learn. I mean, yes, you should, because from a standpoint of things in your life. What I mean is, you don't necessarily have to be reading all the time or watching YouTube videos. But when you have this growth mindset of always trying to grow, always trying to learn, you'll start to see things in your life. You'll start to see things in the relationships that you have, and how you can improve those relationships just based on being able to take a step back and really see things differently. And that comes from different perspectives, from getting new perspectives. And a lot of that time, it comes from when you listen to what other people are saying, when you listen to podcasts, when you listen to audiobooks, when you read books, and you start to hear other people's perspectives. It allows you to reflect on your own life and gain new perspective. And so I started to, again, just continue to read, and I started staying up late and watching YouTube videos, and really just diving into this world, and starting to see and started this motivation. And one of the people that I started watching was Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's a big guy that's just known for like rah motivation. And at the time, it was just what I needed. His book was the first one I ever read, Crush It. Started reading that, started seeing kind of what I could do, and a lot of it talks about creating content, creating videos. And, so the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because, I started reading this, and, it was 2000, towards the end of 2015, and we were approaching the new year in 2016. And I thought to myself, this is great. I'm going to make a video. I wrote down all my goals for 2016. I'm so excited. I got all these goals. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to go, make this video, and I'm going to post it online to social media about all my goals and all the things that I want to achieve in 2016. It'll be great. The new year came. I didn't do it.
I didn't post the video. I was scared. I was worried. What will people say? People are going to judge me. What happens if I don't achieve the goals that I say that I do? You know, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't willing to put myself out there in that position. And, I just kept letting it go. In 2016, that same year, an opportunity presented itself. We were sitting down, the Hurricane team, and we were talking about the upcoming boot camp, which was going to be in Philadelphia. And they were looking for speakers. And I said, hey, I could speak, I could talk about social media. And they were like, oh, okay. Nick's going to talk about social media. Great. And I remember thinking, like, Nick, what did you just volunteer for? What did you just do? And in the back of my mind, really the only reason I did it, and again, this is kind of funny because the only reason I did it was financial gain and experience. I just thought, well, if I speak on stage, they're going to have to pay me more. And, it's going to be great for like a resume builder for me to be able to put this on my resume that, I've spoken in front of a large group of people. As the event got closer, I started, getting more and more nervous as it started to approach itself. And, you know, Nicole and Steve and the team, they asked me and they said, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, yep, I'm sure. And so, the offer was on the table. There was no going back. I was not going to cave. I was going to do this. I was going to make it happen. And I remember being there, and I was so nervous going into this speaking engagement. I mean, I was in my bedroom during the hotel room during lunch, just like going over it over and over again. It was only 20 minutes. It's a 20-minute presentation, which may seem long for you, but at the time it was super long for me. Obviously now I speak for, an hour plus, like it's no problem. But again, this was 2016. So, I'm still figuring things out, but what happened was I stepped on that stage and everything changed. It was the most incredible experience because I got up there and I just did the best that I could. I was super energetic. I wanted to bring the energy. That was a big part of it. And I presented this content about social media marketing. And what happened is as soon as I exited the stage, I'll never forget like giving the presentation, people, cheering for me being done and walking off and just having this like glow, this realization that this was what I was meant to do, that this was a moment that I was going to remember forever. That moment that I realized that I had the ability, I had the power to be able to step in front of, a bunch of people, 150 plus people who are much older than me at the time. Most of the people were double my age in the room. And here I was, speaking, coming from a place of education. And again, to reflect back on my fears about not being smart enough and whether or not it would be good enough. Is this going to be something that people are going to find valuable? And, the response was incredible because so many people came up to me after the presentation and were just telling me, and they were asking me questions. And, and so many of the people that were there in that room, I am still connected with today, who actually ended up later becoming clients and really becoming friends, which is really cool because they got to be a part of me. They got to be a part of that journey and witness this journey that I was able to do and speak on this stage again. Just it was incredible, and realizing that this was my path, this was going to be the path, and just again giving me that confidence that I am smart enough and I do have what it takes. And kind of from that point of speaking on stages, and presenting that content, I realized that there was this need, there was this value of what I was teaching, and that there was an ability for me to be that face and educate them on all the things that I was learning, all of the things that I had learned over the last couple of years working with Hurricane, but also with the things that I had been learning on my own, watching YouTube videos on the weekend and really just continuing to read and learn. I was learning a bit about video marketing and social media marketing and personal development, all these things that I realized that I wanted to share with other people and package it. I wanted to create a course, and that's what's kind of funny about this next, progression here, as we move through, is like starting to speak is I wanted to then build out my course. So I started creating this course that I wanted to build. And again, this is 2016. So, I'm writing out this outline. I have this goal, this post-it note on my board that just says like build your module. That's what it says. Build your module. Module courses, they're used interchangeably. But I saw that every day. I looked at that again, having that reminder, of just like what my goal was to be able to create that. And at the time, I was going through a lot of different struggles in regards to this course and whether or not I should do it for myself or whether or not I should do it for the Hurricane team, do it for their business. Basically it would be a part of theirs. It would be their content. I would just be the face, I would be the one presenting. And, I started thinking about whether or not that was the right approach for me. And it was a struggle for a while. And I would go back and forth with this struggle of like, should I do it for me? Should I do it for them? Should I do it for me? Should I do it for them? Should I do it for me? Should I do it for them? And I'd go, well, okay, I'll do it for them because that's what makes sense. That's the safe bet. I'll give it to them. They have an audience already. I can see if it's good. I can see if it works. I even had someone give me that advice to do that for that reason. But a part of me it just didn't seem right. And then so I go back and forth, like, do I do it for myself? Do I do it for them? Do I do it for myself? Do I do it for them? And it was at this moment, and it's funny because I've documented so much of this. I started journaling in 2018. If you're watching the video, you can see I'm holding a stack of journals, kind of what I started. This was my first journal. And so my first journal entry was 9/18/2018, which is pretty cool to look back on. And I highly recommend that you take some time to do some journaling, even if it's small, even if it's something small, just like writing about things that are going on, because it's been cool to be able to document all of this. Like a lot of this I know because of writing it down. I actually remember exact dates and I can look back on where I want to progress now. But the funny thing is that I have exact places in my journal that I've marked off. And so that's what's so interesting is because throughout all of these journals, and you'll see there's, if you're only watching the video, you're listening here, there's like 6 journals that I have here. On number 7. And, out of all of this, there's only like 3 or 4 pages that are actually marked. So we're talking about basically journaling every single day. Sometimes I do skip the weekends, full confession. Sometimes I don't journal on the weekends. It happens. But during the week, I am very diligent and consistent on writing those journal entries. And so I have the date. It was 12/8/2018. And it was the day that I decided to create the course for myself. And I'll never forget that day because realistically, that was the day that I decided that I wanted to be my own business. I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to do this. If I was going to do it for myself, that meant that I needed everything. I needed to build out a website. I needed to build out the course. I needed to do the marketing. I needed to do all of these things and really be able to make that happen. And when I was doing this progress, and it's funny because even at this point, I was talking about before, I want to circle back a little bit because I skipped a part here that I really wanted to mention that I feel is super important. So I'll come back to this journal entry point. When I was doing the New Year's videos, I feel like this is a very important topic that I didn't want to skip over. So I apologize for circling back. All right, bear with me here, people. I appreciate you guys. And so I mentioned that I didn't do that New Year's video on 2015. And then I mentioned that I also didn't do the video in 2016, and I started this speaking engagement. And what happened was, again, New Year's 2016, I was still really scared of putting out that video, and I still didn't do it. But what I did do, eventually that year in 2016, I decided that I was going to put myself out there, that I was going to make this video and just see what happens, And I recorded the video after watching a podcast. And it's funny to be able to look back on that video and see that video. But being able to look back on that and just laugh because, again, it was the first step. My hair was all over the place. I was wearing like a dirty white tee. Um, but I just talked about what I had learned and I hit that publish button. And this was a big, big moment for me. It was a very big moment for me because I relinquished that fear. It was the decision that I was not going to let the fear prevent me from achieving what I wanted to do, which was to share my knowledge and share the things that I was learning so that it would hopefully empower other people to pursue knowledge, to pursue this the things that I was learning, to listen to podcasts, to start reading more books. And what happened was so amazing because I put that first video out there and a bunch of people responded. A bunch of people were liking it. They were commenting on it. They were talking about how they watched the podcast, that I had recommended. And one of my friends in particular, his name's Bill. He was a huge influence at that time and just being like, dude, that was an awesome video and you should do more of it. And I was kind of like, what? Like, I don't know, I don't want to like annoy people or I don't want to like do it too much. And he was like, dude, you should be doing like 3 a week. And I was like, well, that's a little bit much, but I respected his opinion so highly. And I'll never forget, again, I hope he's listening to this episode, but you know, I took what he said and that was enough, just that one person to be like, dude, you should do more of them. And so I did. And I just started doing them every single week with no real intention, no real, yes, it was a personal branding marketing strategy in a sense that I just wanted to I just wanted to be more present. I wanted to be more in front of people. I understand that, if I ever did want to start a business one day, that it would be good to have people that were listening to me. But again, I tried not to come from a place of, hey, I'm smart. It was just like, hey, this is what I'm learning and sharing that. And I think that that's a really positive message because a lot of times in regards to video, we often feel like we don't know enough or we need to know more. But the thing is, if you just come from this place of this is like what I'm learning and this is what I'm sharing, you know, it comes from a different place in like, hey, I'm not an expert, but hey, I'm learning and look at what I'm learning, being able to reciprocate that knowledge and what ended up happening is not only when I would teach, this information, I'm now getting more of that content that I was learning because you're going to absorb much more content when you not only learn it, but then you also teach other people. And so even just this concept of sharing what I was learning was what allowed me to continue to grow and learn myself just from teaching. And it hasn't stopped. I continue to make these videos every single Monday, sharing these personal development Monday videos, but it's gone even further, because eventually I started making, I did my videos and now circle back to where I was before in creating the course and really wanting to create that course. Because when I realized that I had this course, I realized that I needed to make some digital marketing videos and start making those videos so I could put this out to the world. And so I have this date marked too, because it was just, again, such a huge day for me. On August 21st of 2019 was the official launch of my signature program, The Ultimate Guide to Video Marketing. And, the name's changed slightly a little bit over time, but, again, that was the launching point. I sold a course again. So this is from the more marketing side of things. I sold a course that wasn't even created yet. I just went out there and I said, hey, this is what I've been working on. This is like what I have. If you're interested, you can purchase it. And I did a whole webinar, and launched it. And I had 4 people sign up. And so those 4 people, I will remember and appreciate forever. And if you're listening, you know who you are, as a founding member, because that was a game changer for me. Again, I had people that were willing to invest in me, and that was enough to really inspire me to keep pushing and go through. But again, it was that decision that, all of these decisions that led up to this, from speaking on stage to, this wanting to share my knowledge with other people and then choosing to make that knowledge and turn it into a business, to being able to help more people. I felt that this knowledge was meant for more people, and that by doing it on my own, I was going to be able to help more people and also build the life of my dreams and build the life that I wanted, but again, it was just being willing to put myself out there. I could have put this course out there and got nothing. And then what would have happened? Would I've had the strength to to try again. I like to think I would. But again, and that's the thing, even if you launch a course and you don't sell it, it's like, okay, well, try again. Try again. Try again. Just because you didn't succeed first doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep pursuing and keep pushing. You know, we often get so discouraged because we live in a world of this instant gratification. We want things to happen right away. We want to get things right away. And that hurts us in the long run. You know, we have this like short-term mindset, these short-term thinking, when the best things come in life after time, you know? And I'm loving even just having this conversation with you guys, because it's allowing me to reflect on where I've come over the last, couple of years. And that's progressed to here. And these decisions that I made, most of which came from will, because a lot of these decisions had a lot of fear. I had so much fear, from the fear of posting my first video, from the fear of speaking for the first time, to the fear of launching my course for the first time. Is anyone going to buy it? Is this even going to be good? All of these things, all of these fears, but I didn't let the fear stop me. It's okay to have fear. It makes us human. It's part of it. We are not fearless, and we will never be fearless, but it is will that will push us. It is will to overcome the fear, to be willing to do something and move forward, even with that fear in our minds. Are you willing to step into that fear? Are you willing to step into the light? Are you willing to shine? Are you willing to do things that are scary, because you know that if you do these scary things, you're going to get what you want? It has the potential to give you everything that you are dreaming about. If you're willing to just step into the light, step out of your comfort zone, and be willing to grow and try new things. And just because you don't know this thing or you've never done this before does not mean you can't do it. We all have to start somewhere. We all have to try. We all have to put ourselves out there. We all have to be willing to take that will to be stronger than the fear. That's the only difference. That's the only difference between all of the people in the world, from the Brendan Burchards and all of these top speakers in the world. They have fear also, but they were willing to put themselves out there. They were willing to stumble and fall. They were willing to keep that going and use that will to overcome that fear, because their dream was greater than the fear. How bad do you want your dream? How bad do you want it? What are you willing to do to get everything that you want in life? Could it be as simple as just making some videos to get out of your comfort zone because you're a little scared? I hope so. You just share yourself, share your struggles, share your pain, share your wins, share your knowledge. But just being willing to do things that are going to be a little uncomfortable. The most amazing things happen when you're willing to step out of that comfort zone. And I know, because I've just shared it and I've seen it. I still today, where I am right now, I'm pinching myself because I'm looking out the window and I see San Diego palm trees. It's going to be 70 degrees today in November. And again, I'm not saying, hey, you should move to San Diego. But again, this was a dream of mine. This was a dream that I wrote down that I wanted to do. It was October 25th, 2019 was really the official day that I said I was going to move to San Diego. That was the day. And I had thought about it even a year prior. I had thought about this, this beautiful life of just like living on the beach, But I thought I had to be a millionaire. I thought I had to be, super rich to be able to like live on the beach. And I was scared. Again, scared of moving across the country and away from people that I know, my family, my friends. But I wanted to experience something. I wanted to grow. I wanted to learn more about myself. And I knew that if I did this, I would. And it would present new opportunities and new growth and new knowledge for me to share with more people and help me impact even more people through my own experiences. Because when I'm willing to do these things, it allows me to reflect and help other people. And you have that same power. You don't have to make videos. You don't have to do these things. I mean, it can be just in your own community, your own friends, your own people. to be able to inspire them to do things that are going to better their lives, inspire them to make changes, inspire them to make the choices that are going to get them to that next level, help them buy that dream home, help them find that dream job, help them grow that business, buy that dream car, build that family. Again, there's so many things, but it all starts with ourselves and looking at ourselves and looking at what we want to achieve and what we want to do and what it's going to take to make that happen. And so when I look back and I think about all of the things that I've been able to achieve through all of these different things, and from journaling, from gratitude, from YouTube videos and podcasts and audiobooks, and believing in myself, because at the end of the day, that's an important part of this, is that you got to believe in yourself that you have what it takes. I'm no one special. I promise you, there is nothing special about me. I am just like you. The only thing is that I was willing to put myself out there. I was willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And because of that, great things have come my way. And I'm very fortunate and I'm very privileged and I'm super grateful for all that I have been able to achieve over the years. And I've had a lot of amazing people that have supported me the whole way. I definitely didn't do this alone, but it started with being willing to put myself out there in that first place and seizing opportunities to help me realize what I was truly capable of, to help me realize what my potential was, to start to see things that there is no potential. You have unmasked, unlimited potential to achieve anything that you want. And the only limitation is your belief in what you believe is possible. Because there are amazing possibilities out here in the world. If we're willing to take the steps, if we're willing to take the actions to get the things that we want to achieve. Because on that day, on October 25th, I didn't get here on June 1st like I had originally wrote down. But I promise you, on October 25th, you know what I did every single day? I wrote, move to San Diego, move to San Diego, move to San Diego. I thought about it every single day. Every single day, I thought about it and I wrote it down. It was my goal, and that was bigger than anything else. It was the most important thing. It was bigger than my business goals. It was bigger than physical goals, anything. When I looked at my goals, nothing else mattered. I was being called here. I was being called to San Diego. There was something in my mind, and I knew that if I didn't do it, I was going to regret it forever, and I do not want to live with regret, and I challenge you to do the same. That if there's something that you know that if you don't do, you will regret it, now's the time. Now's the time to be willing to put yourself out there. We don't want to look back and have those regrets that we didn't live up to our potential. Because that still to this day is my biggest fear. My biggest fear is not living up to my potential. Because every day I know that I can do more and be more and rise to a greater version of myself. And to not do that would be a disservice to those that cannot. Those that we've lost too soon. Those that are no longer with us. Those that believe in us to do more and be more. We have a duty and an obligation to be the best version of ourselves, to inspire and empower all those around us. And that is where we need to go. To the best version of ourselves. And it starts by looking at who that person is, what that person does, the best version of ourselves, and then working to being that person. There's a saying, my mentor James Wedmore says it, and there's another guy named Jim Fortin, he says it, and it's called be, do, have. A lot of times we want these things. I want to have this, I want to have this, I want to have that. We have these wishes. Oh, I wish for that, I wish for that. But what it really takes is it's a reverse order and rethinking in how we see these things, reshaping in how we want to be. And it's not just by wishing and starting to try to have, like, if I have this, well, then I'll be able to do that. No, it starts with who we want to be. Who we want to be then doing who that person that we want to be does. Then we'll get the things that we want to have. Be, do, have. Who do you want to be? What does that person do? And then you will have everything that you want in life. And guess what? Life's a lot better when you're being your best version of yourself. Things are amazing when you do all the things that you know you are supposed to do, when you are eating healthy, when you are reading, when you are going after your dreams and you're writing down your goals and you're saving money for the trips that you want to do or the moves you want to make. You're just going to live greater every day when you have that gratitude and you're pursuing the things that you want, when you are pursuing that better version of yourself. It's going to make you feel amazing every single day. That's the secret. If we come from the place of growth and we come from doing the things that are in the back of our head that we know we should be doing, but then we don't. Now, are there going to be days? Of course. Okay, I'm human. I'm not perfect. I have days where I don't work out, or I have days where I don't journal or I don't read, but I don't feel guilty about it. And that's been something that I've needed to overcome and work towards, and that not feeling guilty when I'm not always doing what I'm supposed to do, you know? And it comes back to just like being present and being grateful for where I am now. Because that's the balance. We're working on growing, we're working towards our goal while at the same time we are enjoying where we are today. Eating that ice cream because we feel like it. There's nothing wrong with it. If you feel guilty about it, that's when the problem is. If you're doing it too often, then maybe there's a problem there, because everything is moderation. And realizing you're not going to have these perfect days, but as long as we're able to progress and look back on where we were, we can see the progress that we've been able to make. Because all of these things, all of these steps, all of these things that I've talked about today have all led me to here. But the reason I wanted to share this message, the reason I wanted to talk with you, and first off, I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening to this long. Thank you for taking the time to hear my story, but also realizing that you're on your own path to build your own story, but it starts with the actions that you're willing to take, the mindset of being willing to grow. Just by listening to this, you've already taken the steps. Be proud of yourself for taking the time to listen to things that you know are going to empower you, that you know are going to be better for you in the long term in your life. Because now here I am, October 1st, 2020, I arrived in San Diego and still don't believe it. I don't believe it. And again, I hope I can continue to look at this because, throughout the last couple of years, I have cried multiple times out of pure happiness. And I'm not afraid to say that because I think that's amazing. To be like so overwhelmed with happiness because I've been able to look at the things that I've been able to achieve and do the things that I didn't think I was capable of doing and doing it. And seeing the life that I've been able to build because of it. And I hope that you find this message powerful and reflect on your own life and what you can do to get the things that you want. Because the way I see it, I'm just getting started. This is only the beginning for me. But that's the thing. It's a journey. It's a book. Write a book about your life that you would be happy to read. Because we all take new chapters. If you're going through the same chapter over and over again, it's not going to be a very fun book. So what's the next chapter we were willing to take? What does that next chapter look like? I challenge you to look at it. I challenge you to see what's in that chapter and who you are in that chapter and what it will take and what actions you do on a daily basis. Small habits, small steps, moving towards a greater future, a growth mentality of being grateful every single day. So I end you with this, okay? In conclusion, again, thank you for taking the time to listen to this. Remember that gratitude is the most powerful weapon you have at your disposal. when you wake up every single day and just realize how grateful and how amazing it is to just be right where you are right now. And I know I've talked a lot about growth and achieving your dreams, but I want you to be grateful for where you are right now. Just the idea of being able to wake up and live, the people around you, the friends you have, the family you have, food on your table, a roof over your head. It is an amazing gift, and that is enough to just be happy on a daily basis when you realize how lucky you are to just be here and be living. And number 2, invest in yourself. I know I talked about that. I mean, that's just so huge. Even just, it doesn't have to be investing necessarily financial, but investing time in yourself, whether it be reading or learning, whether it be buying healthy foods, whether it be exercising. Those are investments in yourself. If you buy the healthy food, it's likely that you'll eat it, right? We take those steps, we take that first step in working towards ourselves. Number 3 is just having a growth mindset and really just thinking about how can we grow, how can we learn, how can we improve. We're grateful for where we are, but also that we want to grow and improve. But understand that this is the journey and just enjoying the journey and enjoying the growth. Because that's the whole point. It's not the destination. It's not that I've arrived in San Diego and I've achieved my dreams. Well, then I'd be pretty miserable right now if I just like achieved my dreams and that was it. No, now that I'm here, I'm just on another chapter, another journey to get new experiences and to grow even more and set new goals. Because it's the journey that's amazing that got me here, not just arriving here. Enjoy the journey. Be present. This is what it's all about. Take care. Talk soon. And remember, let's keep growing together.
Wait, one more thing. I would first like to say thank you. Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed this message, please take a moment to write a review. By writing a review, it helps people find this message and helps me help more people. And if you really, really liked it and you think this message could help someone else, take a screenshot, share it on Instagram, and please tag me at Nick J. Boni, NickJBoni, so I can show my appreciation for you. We can all win by helping each other grow. Thank you. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.